apologize for the delay. We are live captioning our meetings. Please look in the chat window of our WebEx meeting where you'll find a link. Please click on that link to open up a web page with the live captioning. We do not have any substitutions today, so I will proceed to work our way through the agenda review for our meeting for May 28th at the end of the month. At this time, I'd like to call to order the agenda review meeting of the Maricopa Community College District Governing Board of May 14, 2024. And as I mentioned, we will be reviewing the agenda for the May 28, 2024 board meeting. For the record, I will call a roll call vote of the board members. Mr. Burnett.
I'm here.
Thank you. Ms. Butler. Thank you. Ms. Davis.
I'm here.
Dr. Narini, I know, is working on getting connected with us, and he'll be with us shortly. Ms. Smith.
Here.
Ms. Sullivan. Dr. Thor.
Here.
And myself. So we are all here, and shortly we'll be joined by Dr. Narini. Understanding that, let's move to the proposed agenda for the 28th of May. And as I think as the board knows, at 6:30, we will start with our annual public hearing to review the truth in taxation information, and then also review our proposed Maricopa Community College District fiscal year budget for 2024-2025. Any questions about that process or procedure? We've been working on information to lead up to this discussion for several months. If not, from there, and we will see if we have, obviously it's open to the public for public comment. From following that, we will close that session and move into our special session, which will be an approval of the tax levy increase for fiscal year 2024-25 and potential adoption of the proposed Maricopa County Community College District fiscal year budget. Any questions about that process?
Now, I just have a comment, if I may, and that is when we're leading that discussion about the tax levy, I read the paperwork, of course, and it gives the explanation before it gets down to the final comment that overall there's a tax decrease rather than a tax increase. Is there any way we can lead with that sentence in our conversation and then move to all of the explanation?
I think that's a great question, Ms. Sullivan. Is that something, Dr. Gonzalez, who could answer that? Is that a general counsel answer or a budget officer answer?
Smith, Mrs. Sullivan. Let's try give our Chief Operating Officer Leanne or Kim Granillo, financial person, opportunity to respond, and then we'll see if that's going to require Janice weighing in.
I don't need an absolute answer to this moment. It's just more a comment than anything, and I know you'll do what's legally appropriate and present it as it must be. It was just a thought as I was reading that, also based on the fact that I've been out in public quite a bit recently, and you know, people are concerned about us raising taxes, and so when I go down to the shift, to the secondary, to the primary, but as yes, kind of, but in the end, it's less. People seem, oh, phew, okay, I get it now. So it's more a comment that way. If this is going in the public record, it may need to be another way. So I don't need to know that, or you have answer. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, given the fact that in our public hearing we'll talk about truth in taxation, Dr. Gonzalez, if we could ask you to have that, have the appropriate folks look at that and get back to the board with an answer, that would be great.
President Bittersmith, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. Again, following that would be the potential, so we talked about the potential adoption of the budget, and then we will adjourn that special session and then move into our normal regular meeting calendar, which will start with our call to order and a roll call, the pledge, substitutions of a student life report from Rio, Student Senate update and introductions of a new student governing board member. And Lynn, I'm presuming you will be ready to give us that introduction as we begin to, unfortunately, have you move on to bigger and better things in our June meeting.
I'd be happy to do that, President Bittersmith.
Thank you so much, and we look forward to that introduction. Following that is our Faculty Executive Council report, and then the Adjunct Faculty Association report, staff representation update, Emeritus Awards and recognitions, then Dr. Gonzalez's report, and under his report, in addition to his commentary, there'll be the Maricopa Foundation semi-annual update. Are there any questions about any of those items? Hearing none, then we would have our normal citizens interim, and then we would go into the consent agenda. And I'll just run quickly through what those items are and then ask if there's questions on any of them. Starting with item 2, which would be the approval of President Emeritus distinction to Dr. Paul Dale, a name familiar to, I think, many of us. Approval of acceptance of a new grant from the Arizona Department of Education, Adult Education, and U.S. Department of Education to Rio Salado College for the FY 2025 year for College Bridge Pathways from July 1, 2024 to June 30th, 2025 in the amount of $7,366,000. Item 4 is approval of an intergovernmental agreement on IGA between Maricopa County Community College District and the Arizona Board of Regents to participate in a scholarship program for spouses and dependents of law enforcement officers. At this point, I want to note that Dr. Narini has joined us. Welcome, Dr. Narini.
Thank you.
I'm told it's there. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. Item number 5 is approval for non-financial extension of intergovernmental agreement of an intergovernmental agreement between Maricopa County Human Services and Maricopa County Community College District to utilize American Rescue Plan Act money for a contract to end December 31st, 2025. And this is a note is like an extension that has no cost to it. Item number 6 is an approval to issue a purchase order to Field Turf USA, Inc. in the amount of $802,047 for the reconstruction of the running track at Paradise Valley Community College. Item number 8 is item number 7 is approval to issue a purchase order to General Acrylics, Inc. in the amount of $1,213,221 for the reconstruction of the tennis courts at Paradise Valley Community College. Number 8 is approval to issue a purchase order to Starkweather Roofing Incorporated in the amount of $289,619 for the music building roof replacement and repair project at Scottsdale Community College. Item number 9 is approval to issue a purchase order to Air Park Signs and Graphics in the amount of $655,624.98 to replace site wayfinding signs campus-wide at Chandler Gilbert Community College on the Pecos campus. Item number 10 is approval of a construction contract award in the amount of $522,049.33 to Sunland Asphalt and Construction LLC for the district-wide 2024 summer pavement replacement and construction program. Item number 11, approval of construction contract award in the amount of $1,177,875.46 to Sunland Asphalt and Construction LLC for the district-wide 2024 annual summer improvement maintenance program. And as we've been reading the attachments, the information, it'll explain why we have all these separate individual amounts because they are separate locations. Item number 12, the approval of an expenditure of budgeted funds not to exceed $6,250,000 over the term of 5 years for the renewal of the district-wide Cisco Security Enterprise Agreement. Item number 13, approval of the expenditure of budgeted funds not to exceed a one-time payment of $1,100,000 for the renewal, a 3-year term, of the existing Cisco Firepower Threat Defense Licensing Agreement on select Cisco security platforms currently used district-wide. Item number 14, approval of university license agreements for the use of office space at South Mountain and Scottsdale Community Colleges by Arizona's universities. Item number 15, approve the renewal of student insurance program policies for FY 2024-25 with Mutual of Omaha for accident and catastrophic effect coverage effective August 1st, 2024 through July 31st, 2025. and with Wellfleet Insurance Company, International Student Insurance, effective August 11, 2024 through August 10, 2025. Item number 16, approval of benefits vendor contract extension for Capital RX, Pharmacy Benefit Manager through December 31st, 2025. Item number 17, approval to award RFP 3553-10 to JP Morgan Chase Bank and Payment Tech LLC to provide banking services and credit card processing respectively to the district beginning July 1, 2024 through June 30th, 2029 with the option to renew for an additional 5-year period. Item number 18 is approval of budgeted expenditure amendment for FY 2022-23 to match what was actually expended in each of those funds. Item number 19, approval of fall 2025 program cycle bachelor's degrees, which is very exciting. That's not in my script, that's just an anecdotal remark, sorry. Item number 20, approval of curriculum item academic degrees and policies 12. Item 21, approval of curriculum item and courses modification 8. New 34 and deletions 21, occupational programs, there are 21 modifications, 1 new and deletion for 2 academic programs, there are 3 new of those. Item 22, it's just a placeholder because we don't have the document yet, but there'll be an IGA from the Office of the Governor for workforce scholarships. The same is true for item number 23, also a placeholder, another IGA with the Governor's Office on behavioral health. With that, are there any questions or comments on any of the items that are currently on the consent agenda?
President Bittersmith, I'm sorry, it's Donna, and I have a question on, I believe it was item 16. I think it was.
Which is the approval of benefits vendor contract
Nope,
for
that's
extension?
That's not it. It's the approval of facility use by the universities. For
Item
office
number
space
14.
14. I think there's another one in there for Grand Canyon. I think there were 3 things in there. Using space somewhere.
Nope, let me go look at those 2 sets of paper. Hang on. No, the posted agenda is office space for South Mountain and Scottsdale by Arizona's universities, but I'm wondering if that's collectively including Grand Canyon. Dr. Gonzalez, can you have somebody answer that question for us?
President Bittersmith, Mrs. Davis, in looking at the agenda, it's pointed out that the agreements are for 2 of our colleges, South Mountain and Scottsdale. And when you look at the actual item itself, there are 3 universities or 2 universities involved in that, Northern Arizona University and Grand Canyon University. So is that what you're seeing there and have a question about?
Yes, that's exactly it. I knew there were 3 things and I was confused. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the 2 is the 2 of ours reflective of our campus locations. And then we've shortened the agenda notation by using the S in the end of the word of university. We've got multiple universities.
Okay, thank you.
Does that help?
President Bittersmith, this is Kelly Butler.
Yes, that's help.
Thank you. I also have a question about agenda item 14. I wanted to find out, the summary page says that those universities are renting space, and it says to permit them to provide support directly to students who wish to transfer. Is that true of both NAU and the GCU group? Are they working to with our students in an effort to seek them, aid them in transferring?
Dr. Gonzalez, who can answer that, Butler?
Yes, President Bittersmith, Ms. Butler, that's correct. When our universities have space on campus, that's the expectation generally laid out in the agreement itself, that they're there to recruit and to support students in their transfer process.
Okay, that answers my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions or comments?
President Bittersmith.
Dr. Thor.
It's been a long time since we've awarded emeritus status to an executive of the district. And so I just wanted to point out, particularly to the newer board members, that although most of our emeritus distinctions have gone to faculty, that policy does allow for executives above a certain level to be recognized. And I'm personally very pleased to see Dr. Dale be nominated for emeritus status.
Dr. Thor, thank you. I guess I made a passing comment, that not a name unfamiliar to us, but it's an excellent point. And do we know, will he be present?
Unfortunately, he will not be able to join us in person, but he will be joining us virtually on that evening.
Oh, good. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Thor. Anything else from the board? If not, let's move on to the non-consent action items, starting with item number 1, which is approval of implementation of the FY 2025 salary increases presented in the district's multi-year strategic compensation plan as approved and adopted by the governing board through Board Policy 2.7, which is staff compensation and benefits. Are there any comments or questions? Okay. Hearing none, we'll go on then on the agenda to first read and information, and then we have 2 items under that category, starting with the Employment and Separations Report from March 16, 2024 through April 19, 2024. Any questions or comments? And then item 2, the first read of staff policy proposals regarding salary administration. They are A41, A42, which is classification and employment mobility, and C9, which is reduction in force. Are there any comments or questions? Okay, then hearing none, we'll move on to monitoring reports. And this, again, is we normally have a budget and analysis report, Fund 1. It's a placeholder because we don't have that report in our hands yet, but we will prior to our board meeting. Then community linkage, and this is an opportunity for governing board members, as we all know, to talk about what we've been doing the last month. And I expect this may take a little bit of time because it's been a very busy but very positive month of activity. And then we have obviously the establishment of our next meeting dates, times, and locations. The obvious one is May 28, 2024 at 6:30, which is our public hearing in Truth and Taxation and review of the budget, as well as our special session to approve those items, and then our regular board meeting, all of which will happen at the Rio Salado Conference Center. On June 11th at 4:30, we will have a special meeting, which we do annually for our charter high school budgets, and then it'll be immediately followed by agenda review and an exec session, which is not a public meeting. Those will be virtual. On June 25th, in person, we will have at 5 o'clock for the board an executive session regarding the chancellor evaluation, and that is a true exec session. Then followed by 6:30, which is the public meeting, which is a public hearing on the proposed charter high school budgets, and then our regular board meeting, which would potentially be the adoption of those charter high school budgets. That's the agenda of the proposed end of the agenda review. Any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, then this concludes our agenda review meeting this evening, and we are now officially adjourned at 5 o'clock. Have a great evening to the rest of you.